A star is born. A star was born. The nation now knows the name Kalel Mullings. Everybody's talking about Kalel Mullings today, and we will talk about him here on the Michigan Football Report. Before I came in, Jack, today, I stopped by, got some donuts for the kids here in Dallas, Texas. 70-year-old woman behind the counter. She doesn't even know I'm a Michigan fan, not wearing anything Michigan. She's like, hey, what'd you do yesterday? How about that Kalel Mullings? Everyone is talking about the performance of Kalel Mullings, and we will today on the Michigan Football Report. If you like that win, baby, give me a like on today's video. Every like puts us in the feed of 5 more Michigan football fans. We could grow the show, grow the Michigan football existence here on YouTube. So give me a like. Today's show, it's the Michigan Football Report Overreaction Sunday. I'm going to dig into the 4, 5, 6 things that everybody's talking about on social media, the fans, the media, opposing fans, all of that coming up right now. The Michigan Football Report with James Yoder, Young Harbaugh, Jack Latteray, coming up right now. Hell of a game. All-time classic. There wasn't a lot of all-time classic plays down the street, in certain periods of the game from Michigan, especially in the third quarter, first half of the fourth quarter. But it kind of ways reminded me of, like that Rose Bowl game against Alabama. I thought Michigan was dominating early, bad third quarter, bad most of the fourth quarter, and they got the plays when they needed them down the stretch in the fourth quarter to get the win. Overreaction number 1 on today's show is hi to the haters. If the USC fans are still here, if you guys haven't left and unsubscribed to the show like fan bases have over and over and over, they ran for the hills. They talked the trash early. They ran for the hills. But I got to give the haters some credit, right? The Michigan State haters, the Ohio State haters, the USC haters, the Texas haters. Everybody was talking trash about Michigan the last 2 weeks after that Texas loss. And I got to give them some credit, right? They said Michigan can't pass the ball worth bleep shit. And they were right. Great call from the haters. They forgot about Kalel Mullings. So Michigan wins is what I tweeted out right after the game yesterday. So let's look at this passing game, right? Alex Orji, 32 yards passing. But what he didn't do is he didn't make any massive mistakes. And I think that's one thing to keep in mind from this game is that there were no interceptions from Alex Orji. There were no fumbles. There weren't really any misreads or bad plays that you're like, oh my gosh, like we've had from Davis Warren the last 3 weeks. But I don't know what to make of this passing game going forward. And we're going to talk about a lot of things on today's show, what the running back situation looks like, what the defense looks like. But the most important position in maybe all of sports is the starting quarterback for a team like Michigan, national championship level team. Davis Warren had some mistakes, right? He made mistakes and Alex Orji didn't. But I don't know what you can do 8 more regular season games, maybe a Big Ten championship game, maybe college football playoff with Alex Orji as your quarterback if you cannot pass the ball. Lincoln Riley's taking on the chin out there, right? From opposing fan bases, from USC fans, from really everybody, that Michigan threw for 32 yards and they still lost the game that USC did. So I am not necessarily convinced that Alex Orji will be the starting quarterback the rest of the year, right? Davis Warren's out there. Jack Tull's out there. Michigan's got a couple games coming up, right? You got Minnesota coming up this week, and then Washington after that, then a bye week. I'm guessing Orji's going to be the starting quarterback for those games. Michigan probably thinks they can win those games no matter who the quarterback is. But after that, the bye week, that second week of October, what happens from there? Will Jack Tuttle be ready? Will Davis Warren kind of get out some of the, turnover bug that he's had? I'm not sure. But the passing attack we saw yesterday, or really the game plan we saw yesterday, using Alex Orji, I do not think is a winning formula down the stretch of the season. Got the job done yesterday, but we saw most of the second half. Michigan couldn't move the ball. I think it was 9 yards of offense before that final drive. So ask you the question on screen, guys. Will Alex Orji be Michigan starting quarterback the rest of the season? Just give me a simple yes or no down in the comments. Now the man of the hour here, Kalel Mullings. People saying that he's Michigan's running back 1. Opposing fan base is like, how is this guy not the starting running back already for Michigan? You see the stats there, 32 carries, 312 yards as a backup, 4 touchdowns the last 2 games. This is just a performance I'm never going to forget, right? This is one of those games I think we'll be talking about as a fan base a decade from now. I'll be like, oh man, that was such an awesome performance by him. Right? It kind of reminded me a lot of ways in Hassan Haskins' 5 touchdowns performance against Ohio State. Donovan Edwards, right? 2 touchdowns, 75 yards, 85 yards against Ohio State. It didn't necessarily mean as much as those games because this is a game on September 21st of a year that Michigan's not expected to be the best team in the country like they were competing for those years. But Kalel Mullings is a bona fide star. And when a day, they'll talk about coming up here in a second, that Michigan stars were either out or got hurt or made boneheaded plays, Kalel Mullings elevated himself to a position where I think he is running back 1 going forward. Jerome Moore kind of alluded to it in his post-game press conference. And we got to figure out a role for Donovan Edwards on this team. So I'm going to ask you guys, I think that if you're an objective fan, you're going to say KM. But I want to ask you guys who should be the starting running back for this team next week, 12 p.m. game at the Big House against Minnesota. Should it be Kalel Mullings? Give me a KM or Donovan Edwards DE. Get down in the comments. Let your thoughts be known on these 2 Michigan superstar running backs. Yesterday, Kalel Mullings, another 150-yard plus performance, averaging almost 10 yards per pop. Now, you did get 3 long touchdown runs out of these players. It was 53 and then 63. 53-yard touchdown, 63-yard run to get inside the 20 for Kalel Mullings, and then Donovan Edwards, 41-yard touchdown run, those first 2 touchdown runs in the first half. But Donovan Edwards doesn't seem to be capable of carrying the ball 16 to 22 times a game, getting 150, 130, 120 yards. That I think Michigan's going to need to have the kind of season that we hope coming off last year's national championship year. So they've got to do something with him, right? He's got to be more of a weapon, right? We saw a play early on where I thought he could have maybe hurdled a guy when he got the swing pass from Alex Orji, which I think picked up, 7 yards or something like that. It was 9 yards, right? 9 yards. So it was a few yards short of, maybe even just 1 yard short of the first down. But he is not Michigan's best running back at this point. So whether that's more reverses, whether that's, getting him out as a wide receiver in the slot. But I just don't know if he can carry the ball 16 to 22 times. I'm not sure we've ever seen that outside of the 3-game stretch, Ohio State, Purdue, and then some mix of TCU game at the end of the 2022 season. We got more to talk about here on the Michigan Football Report, but today's show is presented by Game Time. It's the app that a lot of you guys use to see Michigan pull off an epic win against USC yesterday. Game Time has a new feature called Game Time Picks that makes getting tickets to see your favorite teams play live even easier. Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets. With killer last-minute deals, all-in prices, views from your seat, and their lowest price guarantee, Game Time takes the work out of buying tickets to events. Michigan football season is here. 4 home games in the book, 4 left to go, and I love Game Time. It's the only app I'll use to buy Michigan football tickets. With last-minute deals, you can save up to 60% off buying last-minute sports, comedy, theater tickets for yourselves. Also, all-in pricing. You toggle this feature to show the total upfront cost with no surprise fees at checkout. And maybe the best feature is panoramic views, right? You see your seat views from the app, right? You go in the app, you see exactly where you're sitting. No surprises where you think, oh, wow, these are great seats. This is a really good price. You get there, you got something obstructing you. None of that happens with Game Time. I love Game Time. I recommend that you use Game Time as well. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code CHATSPORTS for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code CHATSPORTS for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. Little thought here, Jack, before we move on to the overreaction number 3. People say when Michigan, when a team misses an extra point, this is always like, one of those hyperboles is, that's going to come back to haunt them. And it could have come back to haunt Michigan, but did it actually come back to haunt USC? Let me throw this idea out here. Let me just throw this scenario for you. If Michigan had made that extra point, which I believe was on the 3rd touchdown, right after Will Johnson's pick 6, if they had made that, would they have gone for it on 4th and 2? Would they have been aggressive inside the 20 to get even in, to move the ball inside the 5 to have a chance to score a touchdown? Or if it was a 3-point game at that point, right? If it was 24-21 instead of 24-20, would Michigan just have ran a couple plays, got the ball in the center of the field, and kicked an extra point, and in my opinion, gone to overtime? And I think almost certainly would have lost the game because I think that they would have struggled to score touchdowns in the 20, getting the ball at the 25-yard line, and USC would have had a better chance to score a touchdown. So just kind of think about it. I think everybody was probably saying, oh my gosh, that might come back to haunt us. They actually did come back to haunt somebody, but I don't think it was Michigan. I think it forced Michigan to be aggressive, go for it on fourth down, get some plays inside the 20, came back to haunt USC. Number 3 overreaction. Wink, don't stink. I saw people call him the last 3 weeks Stink Martindale. No, it's Wink Martindale. And he kind of looks like a badass on the side. He's got these like baseball-style sunglasses, which I'm not a big fan of. They look good on him. He's wearing the gold chains. We got that kind of cutoff. And he's got himself a defense that was absolutely harassing Miller Moss yesterday. I mean, the stats said there was 10 quarterback hurries. I don't know where you qualify as a quarterback hurry, but he felt like he was hurried on some drives every single gosh dang play. And Michigan did some things in the first half that really got this team some confidence, got them in the groove, got them a 14-3 lead. One of them, which is 1 third-down conversion for USC in the first half. Now, as you go in the second half, USC had a lot more success, right? 6 third-down conversions converted into first downs in that second half, but Michigan held on when it needed. All right, down the stretch of the game, the fourth quarter, 3 straight drives so that they got stops from USC, including 3 straight drives with long fields. Take out the Donovan Edwards fumble, which could have been the game winner for the Trojans. 6 of 10, though, in the third half. That's in the second half, then third for USC. That's not ideal, but came up when it counted, especially on that last drive. Third down and then fourth down. How about this man, though? One of the great performances, right, in, I think, the history of Michigan football. It won't get as much pub or much publicity as Kalel Mullings or a game like Chase Winovich, Aiden Hutchinson against Ohio State with 5 sacks and all that different stuff. But Josiah Stewart was absolutely everywhere yesterday. 4 tackles, 2 sacks, 4 quarterback hurries, 3 tackles for loss on the day. Had he added like a fumble recovery or anything like that, or even a pick interception or anything like that himself, this could have gone down as maybe one of the top 5 or 6 performances ever. But it was legendary. It was an all-time great performance for Josiah Stewart. Give this man some credit. The transfer from Coastal Carolina was a backup last year, and now in a starting role is turning into an absolute superstar through 4 games this year. Overreaction number 4, all goals are still alive. Hey, that Texas loss that was out of conference doesn't matter as much as a loss to USC was, but I don't think there's anyone out there realistically thinking that Michigan's going to beat Oregon or Ohio State with the type of offensive passing performance that they saw yesterday. Let's take a look at what's coming up in the schedule, right? So 5 games before the end of September, all at home. We got Minnesota coming up. It's a noon game next Saturday at the Big House. After that, got to go on the road to Washington, right? This Washington team lost to Washington State a couple weeks ago. I think they won against Northwestern yesterday. Then Michigan's got their bye week. I think that bye week is going to be instrumental into who will be the quarterback of this team going forward. Jack Tuttle seems like he's still injured. Can Davis Warren make better decisions, overcome some things? He can at least throw the ball. Illinois, that's looking like a big game, right? That's going to be a ranked Illinois team unless they drop a game here in the next few weeks. I've got to look at their schedule. But they're a ranked team now. They beat Nebraska on Friday night. 31-24, I think, was the final. You got Michigan State. Suck at Michigan State. Lost to Boston College late last night. Then you go Oregon. Coming into the Big House, another classic game at Michigan Stadium. Into the rest of November. Indiana. That's looking like a pretty dang good team so far. You got another bye week. Northwestern probably should be a win. And Ohio State. So there are at least 5 or 6 losable games if you don't have a better offensive game plan. If you're not ready to play for this team. But all goals are still in front of them. You beat Oregon. I think at this point, if you win all the rest of the games and you can somehow split Oregon and Ohio State, you're probably in the Big Ten championship game right there at this point. And no matter what happens in that game, I think you're in the playoffs. But if you lose both those games, which they won't, of course, beat Ohio State again, comment posted down below. If you lose both those games, then you're sitting at 9-3 if you take care of business elsewhere. I think that's borderline playoffs. You can't, have a blowout in either one of those games, a blowout loss, or you really risk, being ranked 13th, 14th, 15th, or worse in the CFP as it expands to 12 teams this season. Guys, we are rolling here in the Michigan Football Report, so make sure to subscribe. This is a team that's 1-0 in the Big Ten. Just got themselves a win over the 11th ranked team in the country. If you're looking for more Michigan football news, rumors, videos here on YouTube, give us a subscribe, youtube.com/Michigan TV, and send the link to your Michigan group chats, Facebook pages, etc. to help the show grow organically. Number 5, no stars, no problem. And there's a lot of problems in this game, but no problem in getting the win as Michigan, pushes the ball in on 4th and 2, but Colston Loveland doesn't play. Will Johnson goes out with injury, gets an x-ray in the 4th quarter. Other stars struggle. So let's kind of walk through this here. All right, Colston Loveland got injured last week, did not play, came out of the game against Arkansas State in the 3rd quarter. Will Johnson, pick 6 in the 3rd quarter, didn't play, came out. I can't remember when he exactly came out. It was the end of the 3rd or some early in the 4th, but he didn't play. 3 or 4 drives on defense in the 4th quarter. How about Kenneth Grant? All right, Kenneth Grant picks up the fumble, and he's rumbling. I bet he's never carried the ball more than 5 feet in his entire life. He's 370 pounds, rumbling, stumbling, bumbling. And then, just like Maurice Klett in the 2002 National Championship game, the running back from USC chases him down, just rips the ball out of hand, takes the ball back. So you got your big-time superstars. Colston Loveland didn't play. Will Johnson missed the 4th quarter. Kenneth Grant fumbles the ball. And then Donovan Edwards, I think it was the first fumble in his entire Michigan career, 4 years, fumbles the ball inside Michigan's own 20. That was the go-ahead game score for USC. Could have cost Michigan the game. I felt like it was going to cost Michigan the game, but ultimately it didn't because his running back partner, Kalel Mullings, saved the day. Now, Will Johnson left the game with an injury. He told Jason Avant, and Sherrone Moore said it as well, that he was good to go. Sherrone Moore actually said in his post-game interview with John Jansen on the Michigan Radio Network that Will came back out and could have gone back into the game if they absolutely needed him to, if we wanted him to, whatever it was, or if it was earlier in the game like that happened in the 1st or 2nd quarter. So I expect Will Johnson to play knowing that, but we've been lied to by coaches and media members plenty of times in the past. So you got maybe your best player on offense and your best player on defense not in the ball game for Michigan in the 4th quarter, and they get a win over the number 11 team in the country. You got to feel pretty damn good about that when you only throw the ball for 32 yards on the day. My Twitter is down in the comments and the description of today's video. It's at James Yoder, just my first name and last name. So make sure you guys are following me for more Michigan football news, rumors, and comedy. I mean, I don't know, Jack, that one tweet I put up there about the haters rolling 4,000 plus likes here in 15 hours since I tweeted out there. So make sure you guys are following me on Twitter. It's at James Yoder. We are back with another Michigan football report on Monday. Till then, go Blue.